I want to make it abundantly clear that we, the membership of the Alliance for Patriotic Reorientation and Construction, are God-fearing. We believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are true to our conscience. We are disciplined, and we have respect for authority. But make no mistake, we, because of those qualities or those characteristics, we cannot be cowed down by anybody or any force, both here and outside. We are resolute and would fight hard to defend our rights and dignity. And we are more determined now than ever before to surmount all obstacles on our way to achieve what we want. The so-called political commentators and human rights activists like Nyan Jan and Madi Jobate, who, for reasons best known to them, will make remarks against ourselves and our leadership and our people and expect no response from anybody. This cannot be tolerated. Madi Jobate, in passing, who represents the Westminster in trying to ensure democracy and rule of law, we all know, is partisan in all his endeavors, ever since, for the past 20-something years. He clothes himself in a wolf's clothing and expects that he can say and do anything without response. To the extent that they were reporting my first deputy to the police, and even demanding from police to call him for questions as if they are the be-all and the end-all of everything. Let nobody take us for granted. Let nobody take our discipline, our respect for granted. I said we are Gambians, we are God-fearing, we are disciplined, we don't want any problems in the country. But don't take us for a ride. I will make a special comment. Instead of Usman Rambo, I will myself take the lead in dissecting what these people are doing and exposing them and even asking them. We will do anything possible to respond equally or more to whatever they do. That has to be made clear. We, as a party, are dictated by our conscience and the wishes and aspirations of our party members, and indeed, our beloved country, the Gambia. The focus of today's press conference is the ruling of the Gambia Court of Appeal that is M.A. Gaddafi versus the Attorney General, the subsequent response by the Attorney General, and our position so far. That's the focus. That will not limit you from asking any other question that we might have left out. As Dudu said, we don't close down. People may ask any questions they want to ask, and we will do our best to answer all the questions. Now, I want to make a contrast as to what the key ingredients of the judgment versus the response of Attorney General Batambedu versus who is Batambedu. We must look at it from that perspective. To this end, before I go into the details, I want you, the various media houses, to make your judgments, and those listening. I will just want to read what Batambedu, his response to the judgment, just some quotes from it. I will go into the judgment, and I will now lay out who Batambedu is. He said, meanwhile, consistent with the government's strong commitment to respect for rule of law, all sale of properties flowing from the Janneh Commission recommendations have now been suspended in deference to the ruling of the Court of Appeal until the final pronouncement is made. But he said this. He said, the government notes that different interpretations of the ruling are being offered by many, including sections of the media. The government wishes to clarify to the general public that the Gambia Court of Appeal did not in any way state that the Janneh Commission recommendations cannot be enforced. Did not state in any way that the Janneh Commission recommendations cannot be enforced. Rather, in a departure from long-established practice in this jurisdiction, the Court of Appeal held that an additional legal step needs to be taken by the executive in order to execute some and not all of the recommendations of the Commission of Inquiry, such as the Janneh Commission. Indeed, the Gambia Court of Appeal has accepted in the said ruling that the position arrived at by the court in this matter is a novel. The government, however, disagrees with this position by the Court of Appeal and intends to further litigate this matter. And he concluded by saying, Batambedu, the new Gambia is committed to the principles of good governance and rapidly gaining recognition around the world as a bastion of democracy and a judicial independence. These are the words of Batambedu. It is the same judgment we all read. Let's make comparisons. In the judgment, Justice Njai said, a commission of inquiry does not and legally cannot make a judgment. A commission of inquiry does not and legally cannot make a judgment. Very clear words. In other words, he continued, a commission of inquiry cannot legally render a binding decision which may be executed or enforced as it were a judgment or order. Cannot make it a binding decision or enforce it as if it were a judgment, that's a court-given judgment or an order from the court. Batambedu said the judgment did not say that. Justice Njai further said, the adverse findings and recommendations of the Commission of Inquiry are merely advisory and not conclusive and binding. The adverse recommendations are mere recommendations and not conclusive, neither binding. Justice Njai, in his judgment, weighed against what Batambedu said. He further noted that Commission of Inquiry is part and parcel of the executive and not part of the judiciary, thus not an adjudicating body. Commission of Inquiry is part of the executive. It has nothing to do with the legislature or the judiciary. And therefore, it's only the judiciary that can make judgments that can be enforced and executed, or orders. This is what they are saying. The appeal court quoted and relied on a Supreme Court judgment, Fayal Ghanem versus the Attorney General, with the Chief Justice sitting, that's Hassan B. Jallo, the current Chief Justice. And Justice Jallo, Hassan Jallo stated that a commission of inquiry is not a law-making body. It has no legislative powers and that does not fall within the legislature. This is before a previous case that this judgment relied on. This was also stated, and this had not been a guidance to Batambedu, Attorney General and Chief Legal Advisor to government. Justice Jallo further said in that judgment that a commission of inquiry is an investigative, fact-finding body which makes findings and recommendations that are subjected to the approval of government. Legal judgments are not subject to approval of the president or the executive. This is Hassan Jallo's judgment in a different case earlier on. Justice Njai of the Appeal Court said, consequently, my view is that the advised findings or recommendations of a commission of inquiry cannot be executed or enforced. They are not judgments or orders of an adjudicating body. Cannot. This is what he said. Batambedu, I just read it for you when he said, that's not what the judgment said. I think he's reading another document from Mass. You see, we are at a stage that no one person can fool Gambians. We must recognize that. If mistakes are made, we must accept our mistakes as human beings. But in the execution of our duties, we must put away emotions and sentiments. The government white paper, Njai said about the government white paper, a white paper does not certainly emanate from the Commission of Inquiry. It emanates from government. And it is, as a result, not part of the report of the Commission of Inquiry. It is not legislative. It has no legislative character, and it is certainly not a judgment or order of a court. That's a white paper. Certainly not a judgment or an order of a court. And only the court has those jurisdictions. Justice Njai finally said, if, following the publication of a report of a commission of inquiry, together with any advice findings and recommendations, the executive intends to impose any penalty to any person adversely mentioned, the executive must, quote, the executive must take the requisite court actions, whether civil or criminal, in order to have those penalties enforced. And the recommendations are done. It goes to government, and government wants to act. The judgment is that they cannot do anything. If they want to go further, they should resort to the courts. Batambedu misled us. I quote him again. The government wishes to clarify that the general public that the Gambia Court of Appeal did not in any way state that the Ghana Commission recommendations cannot be enforced. Comparisons. I've just read two of them to you. And then he went further to state, Batambedu, that what the commission said is government can go to another level of going to court. Then why should government stop selling the properties? I beg that question. And Justice Njai finally concluded, just concluding now. He said the 1997 Constitution and other laws of the Gambia do not provide for the suffering of liabilities by persons against whom advice findings are made by commissions of inquiry. Justice Njai, I read again. The 1997 Constitution and other laws of the Gambia do not provide for the suffering of liabilities by persons against whom adverse findings are made by the Commission of Inquiry. It cannot just be automatic. Commission says this, you go and implement it. These are what we are, where we are today. Various reactions came out. Key amongst them is Almame Tal. We all know Almame is a lawyer by profession, but a disappointment by all standards. Almame, I quote him, just a portion. Attorney General should not have suspended the sale of properties and assets belonging to former President Yahya Jammeh and others, despite the appeal court ruling. Reasons: this is just one case. Every other case will be subjected to the same scrutiny. What he was trying to say is, this is Ghanem versus Attorney General. And therefore, if it comes to Yahya Jammeh or Fabakary, we should wait for that. If a lawyer can talk to Gambians in that sense, I will be most disappointed for any Gambian to seek for any legal advice from that person. I'm not a lawyer, but I challenge him on this issue. The ruling states categorically, not the Commission of Inquiry cannot enforce orders on Ghanim. He said he cannot enforce orders on any Gambian. The last portion of what I read to you, he said was that the 1997 Constitution and other laws of the Gambia do not provide for the suffering of liabilities of persons against whom advice findings have been found against. These are very clear statements. But they are out to mislead Gambians. They are vicious, they are emotional, and they are full of sentiments. Why? I will give you reasons. Since President Jammeh left the source of this country, yourselves, you will see the narration. And all these things, I must sadly say, that even some media houses are complicit. Because your key role is to inform factually, without bias, without emotions, without your lineages, political lineages to the public. If you are investigative, you can make analysis. I remember, Honorable Jah, I don't know whether you have it ready.
Yes.
Sometime last year, some time ago, myself and Dudu had a program on ITV, iAfrica TV. And I said this. I said, it is illegal for the Commission of Inquiry to effect sales of President Jammeh's properties, especially his cattle and vehicles. Nobody listened. It was not even an issue. You know, the issues we raise, just once, it just comes out, one person, you don't hear it again. And people belabor issues. There are a lot of things happening in this system that, for me, I cannot ever imagine those things happening during our time. The adage here is APRC and Yahya Jammeh, human rights violations in every form. But is that all in governance? Is that all in governance? When people have prepared people's minds, have their program to detract people from current issues so that they will openly be looting the assets of Gambians, thus leading us into acute poverty and despair. This is what is happening. I will ask Dudu to play that, to confirm that. We will come. Now, I now ask the question, why were AG, Attorney General Batambelu and his cohorts busy on the smear campaign against APRC, Yahya Jammeh, for that matter, since former President Jammeh left the source of this country? And I ask for us all, listen. If I am lying, you can say it in your papers. I am saying that the main reason was to distract us, Gambians, focus us on Yahya Jammeh, his killings, his looting, APRC, how bad we are, whilst they are looting civilizedly our resources, enriching themselves, playing on the minds of Gambians. I will prove it. We all know that Ba Tambedu professes himself to be a human rights lawyer, a human rights activist, and a gentleman who wants to ensure there is democracy, rule of law. That's what he always pronounces. Verbally, what he talks about. You are assessed not by what you say, but by what you do. Taking that as a cue, I believe that Attorney General Ba Tambedu is a blot on this coalition Barrow government. Just like if you take white sheet and you dump charcoal or ink on it, it's a blot on it, for many reasons. And therefore, he does not have the moral compass. Because of the reasons I will adduce, Ba Tambedu does not have the moral compass to talk about President Jammeh or APRC as to our bad deeds. You cannot be a criminal, more criminal than us, and you want to tell us you are criminals. A thief telling a thief you are a thief. We would not tolerate that. Now, let's focus on that. If you remember, in the Yankuba Baji trial, Ba Tambedu appointed his brother, Sheriff Tambedu. And if you recall, Yankuba Baji's wife was able to record his brother in their private discussions. That blew out, and Sheriff resigned. Honestly, if I were Ba Tambedu, Ba stayed put, and he's the champion of rule of law and democracy and human rights. He stayed. People never bothered about that. We are aware the passport scandal Ba Tambedu is the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, at the same time the chief legal advisor to the executive, basically to President Adama Barrow. We all know the scam, passport scam, to a level when Gambian diplomatic passport is just like a tissue paper. Ba decided to get passport for his wives, his mother, stepmother, sisters, and all these things. And he said, when he was challenged, he said his mother cannot walk and all these things. When he's going to Mecca, he needs assistance. As if you, your mother, my mother, as old as they may be, are not Gambians and don't deserve that. But that aside, when the press was mounted on him and he decided to return the passport, he said, in fact, I am not the approving authority. I only applied and President Adama Barrow approved it. Now shifting responsibility from himself now to Adama Barrow. Ba Tambedu. Who knows best than Ba Tambedu, a legal man, to know how diplomatic passports should be issued? Who knows the laws more than that person? Even if President Barrow approves it, he is better positioned to know who and not who to give the passports to. See, we have reached a stage when you are confronted with facts. For us to move forward, we must accept facts and correct the mistakes and move forward. We cannot constantly be denying and shifting blames from one person to the other. That is Ba Tambedu. You remember President Adama Barrow said in Sibanor that President Jammeh can come back here as a gentleman, as a citizen, but will not be president. The next day, Ba Tambedu went. If President Jammeh sets his foot here, he will be arrested at the airport. The president versus Ba Tambedu. Don't we discern, don't we look between lines what these people are up to? He, Ba Tambedu, with the commission, seized our vehicles and all our things. And I remember then, we wrote to him, Ba Tambedu, saying that, why should you seize our vehicles? Because we have seen the coalition government giving our brand new pickups to their party militants just within 3-4 months into office. They referred us to the police that they are investigating. The commission has finished its report. The government white paper is out. Journalists, you have seen it. Have you seen mentioned anywhere APRC vehicles? Over 20-something to 30 vehicles. Look at it. And what we said was, if the vehicles are seized and that they are to be ascertained as to ownership, they should be parked somewhere. If judgment is that they are owned by the state, they take it. If they say 5 are owned by state and the rest are owned by you, they act on it. But you cannot find, from the time they were seized, you cannot find those vehicles anywhere. Anywhere. Some are repainted, some are sold outside. Anything has happened. They don't even know where the vehicles are. The champion of democracy and human rights, and a human rights activist. The same Ba Tambedu always want to distract people, especially for people to dislike APRC more and Yahya Jammeh more, so that our concentration will be that. In addressing soldiers, he thanked Gambian soldiers for making the most attempt on Yahya Jammeh's government, coup d'etats, against the Yahya Jammeh government. No, that is criminal. That's why, in response to that some time ago, I said, if anybody attempts President Adama Barrow's coalition government and you dodge away, if APRC comes to governance, if you come back, we will prosecute you according to law. These are the sayings of Ba Tambedu. If you remember the Honorable Kumba Gete, it's same Batambedu who illegally advised the president until the government found it themselves in that embarrassment. Legal man, legal mind. I'm just giving you a synopsis of who Batambedu is. When Haruna Jatta was shot dead, we glamored, we talked, we did everything. Batambedu is the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. To date, have not put up any inquiry into his death, nor did they even have the courtesy to pay a courtesy call on the family, the young family of Haruna Jatta, as if they are not Gambians. Ismail Tamba was shot in Kanilai by a soldier. He almost died. Not one investigation. Is that the man who is the champion of human rights and democracy? Or is he the man who has an agenda? That time will tell. I will give you one. When the commission started, just starting, there was time they seized our vehicles. There was time they seized President Jammeh's cattle. I will give you a very good story. Seized it. It was then estimated that he had over 7,000 cattle. The receiver, the court-appointed receiver of Jammeh's properties then was Augustus Prom. We know Augustus Prom. The firm, the auditing firm, I have the opportunity to work with them. They are professional, honest and decent, and always dictated by their conscience. Batambedu, for whatever reasons, the court-appointed receiver was removed, and he appointed one Barry as receiver, Alpha Barry. Some say it's a friend to him. Question mark, why? I know Augustus Prom, there are certain things they will never take it. But see what happened. Out of these 7,000 cattle, over 7,000, a committee was set up for sales, to sell these things. The committee only found 720 cattle to sell. 720. And out of that, the proceeds, 8 million plus, it was said to be lodged into the account. Unless they put it back tomorrow, but it was removed. Where is the balance of the remaining cattle? And are you aware that in President Jammeh's Kanilai home, there are tens and there are over 20 containers filled with, we all know Yaya Jammeh, he doesn't like second class things. We all know him, like him or dislike him. Furniture, laptops, TV flat screens, containers and containers. Where are they? We cannot name them. In millions, that those things, if sold, will go into billions of dollars. His equipment, what do you call this?
Bajka.
Honey, equipment, graders and all these things. Various categories. Some cost over $500,000 to what? Over half a billion dollars. 8 of them all disappeared in here. Batambedu as Minister and Attorney General of the Gambia, the champion of human rights, democracy and rule of law. We have seen, all of us, we all know that President Jammeh's vehicles various types of vehicles, very expensive vehicles. We see them with former ministers and some in government sold out. If you remember, I challenge journalists to ask Batambedu to tell the Gambian people we have a right to know who bought those vehicles, how much was it sold for, and were the vehicles sale advertised or gazetted or whatever. These things are not forthcoming. You just see. An example, I have reliable information that I believe that Nyanjai, who is always blabbering about Yaya Jammeh, if he gets him, I think he will kill him, is one person who bought President Jammeh's Mercedes Benz that's worth over $2 million for $100,000. Range Rover. $100,000. You think that man would like Yaya Jammeh to come back? No. And that's just a bit of what we are investigating. We are coming on them. Why some of these people are crying foul. Why they are always talking about no Yaya Jammeh, no APRC. And they will die, APRC will exist here. We are Gambians like them. As I said, journalists, I said some of you people are complicit in the whole saga. I remember when we were in government, even if you look strongly at somebody, the journalists will pick it. But today, you see criminal activities, looting, open day looting in the country. And people are making us believe that we should only be concentrating on the past deeds of APRC or Yaya Jammeh. As if those talks will fill our bellies, provide school and education for our children, and help us have access to education. We said at the onset, that we as a party are in agreement for them to look into the activities of APRC. But we said, independent-minded people. Look at the composition of the Ghane Commission. Ghane himself and Ami Bensouda are victims of the Mama Fatima Singate tax evasion inquiry. You ask them to come and investigate President Jammeh. Look, we don't have other Gambians. We remember the TRRC when we talked about Alaji Barrow, who was a coupist in 2014, December. He ran away, convicted in America. When he was coming here, cabinet ministers gave him a red carpet welcome at the airport. A coupist. However much you may dislike the passing of Yaya Jammeh, love the Gambia. Under no circumstances should we tolerate or accept military coup d'etats. People lost their lives. It did not stop there. He was taken to the TRRC to work in the investigation of APRC and Yaya Jammeh. The same person who used a gun and failed, now you tell him, use your pen. Easier. These are all evident. The issue is, whilst they are continuously trying to tarnish the image of Yaya Jammeh's smear campaign over the years, you have all seen it. When we started in 2017, you dare not even tell somebody APRC. Nor can you wear an APRC T-shirt or symbol. People were scared. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants truth and will always protect those on the truth. To date, with all the smear campaigns, APRC is growing from strength to strength. Because Gambians, most Gambians have now realized that the solution to Gambia's problem is not talking about what the bad Yaya Jammeh did, and no one will ever talk about the good that he has done. But most of those bad things that they allege he has done are happening today in the Gambia. I want to demand and urge President Adama Barrow. I will first of all ask Batambedu to resign as Attorney General and Minister of Justice. He has failed the system. He can only talk loud and big when his actions are as small and minute as an ant. His behavior does not conform to the position of Attorney General and Minister of Justice. As Attorney General and Minister of Justice, despite whatever might have happened, you should be independent, you should be less emotional, you should be professional and honest. Now, in the absence of that, President Adama Barrow is losing his popularity because of many reasons, but the key amongst them is Batambedu as Minister and Attorney General. Therefore, it is not only enough to stop the sales of properties of those adversely affected at the Commission of Inquiry. The court has said it is illegal. So whatever Batambedu and his cohort have done is criminal and illegal. That's the decision of the court. You don't only stop it, you must tell people where are those properties, who are there, are they on rent, have you rented any of them, who is collecting the money, and return those properties to their owners until otherwise decided by the court. That's what we are demanding. It's not enough. You cannot go under the cloak. This judgment is the biggest disgrace to Barrow government. When, if you remember, following the white paper, they unilaterally decided to leave some out from punishment and others to be punished. Now, the Gambia Court of Appeal has categorically stated that sales of properties of those affected by the commission or whatever are illegal, and whatever is there cannot be enforced or executed. So what I am saying is Batambedu must bring back those properties to their owners, because I remember they were busy going around removing people from President Jammeh's properties. Very insensitive. Very insensitive. Even if they were to be seized, you have poor people living there. Why? You should have the milk of human kindness. You are a leader of a people. Wherever you have leaders, you know that it's the people whom you are leading, and it's the people whose interests you must protect. This is what they did here when they took Jammeh's tractors from farmers and youth groups and all these things, only to go and sell them to individuals. Just look at those things. We want to know those things. We want Batambedu, and you, the journalists, I charge you people, I challenge you, for us to be informed on which of the properties are sold, to whom were they sold, was it advertised in the papers or an auction declared, and who are those responsible for the sales? Because commission confiscated items should be managed, I believe, by the Assets Management and Recovery Company, AMRC. But I am aware some of the people who were evicted by individuals. Some of them, we understand, are close associates of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. What are these people doing? You think Gambia is a private property? People should know this must not be managed clandestinely. You cannot come and tell us big things that nobody will go to investigate. Give us proofs. How much money has been realized? Where are the monies? Tell us. We have people in the system who will confirm. So I will try to make. I know there are certain issues that people may want to hear. I have heard over the air the European Union resident representative in the Gambia. He said he was fighting for the cause of the LGBT, the gay people, and went further to say that why the EU is giving government funds is for them to protect those people. Honestly, even if I had agreed with them as a government, and you come to belittle us like that, that day you will not spend the night here. You see, this is how much the Barrow government is seen by the West. And this is all the more the difference between this government and the APRC Yaya Jammeh government. He does not and will never succumb to pressure at the expense of the average Gambian. You call him a dictator, a killer. There are worse killers and worse dictators around the globe, and they are called Democrats. We know it. APRC government would never, ever tolerate a man marrying a woman. Sorry, a man or a woman marrying a woman. If that happens, all of us would not have been here. If Adam was created with another Adam, that was going to be the end of the world. You will not have offsprings. They are able to do it because man married woman. That's why they are able to come to this earth, and now they decide to go. It will never happen. It's against our values, our norms, our culture, and our religions. Things are unfolding. All these cases, all these problems, even UDP is complicit. The entire coalition team are complicit in the problems we are encountering today. UDP, PPP, what, name them. All to put away the APRC. What we aspire, what we think is remove the APRC, bring in a system that's better than APRC that moves forward. Don't repeat the bad that APRC government did. Correct them and move. But if you talk to them, oh, what are you doing? They tell you have done it. That position I want to clear that we as a party, we don't believe in that. I was also touched when I heard the Honorable Minister of Health. There were no serious follow-ups on these serious allegations. this COVID-19 issue, when he reported to Parliament and he was under pressure, he talked about government officials being corrupt. The minister himself was corrupt. They were inflating things, doing everything to squeeze out money. And remember, government veiled from our travel vote, no more travel. And we had concessions, lease loan concessions from people who lent us money. We are no longer paying those monies. And some other things, they put aside money that they are now distributing as rice and this thing. My worry was, those monies should have been appropriated first. 1.2 billion, whatever. Tell us how you, tell Parliament, who are our representatives, how you use them. We are going to use 250 million to compensate shops that we close. We are going to buy this number of rice. We are going to buy drugs. We are going to buy vehicles. We are going to give allowances. We are going to whatever. Break it down and our representatives will approve it. But when they go to use it the way they want, and you want to do oversight, it becomes difficult. Because if they decide to buy 20 vehicles, you cannot tell them why 20 vehicles. A budget is meant to regulate, so that when you come, you tell them to buy 20 and you find they bought 12, 10, you find 12, you can now ask. But what is clear is that for whatever reasons, there is massive looting of our resources within the system. These are words emanating from themselves. And the other, probably the final one, I've talked about that one. Two things. The Independent Electoral Commission were complicit in the case of the impasse following the 2016 presidential elections. And over the period, we as a party believe and sincerely believe that a lot of things went wrong just to get the APRC out. And key players are, of course, the IEC, more so the IEC chairman, who himself said clearly and categorically that he is happy APRC is out and Yahya Jammeh is gone. For us to have free, fair, and independent elections, we demand that more independent-minded people, honest, sincere Gambians, be appointed to the IEC. As regards the TRRC, which has lost its momentum, when the Jammeh Commission started, there was a lot of noise in the Gambia. Mm-hmm. As it lost its morality and the flavor, the people started saying, wait until the TRRC comes. It will be the killer blow for APRC. That's what they said. And every manipulation was done to make sure APRC is dated and Yahya Jammeh is dated. And we are aware, up to today, they are doing more moves to see how they can get people who will smear the APRC. Thank God, our Gambian people want more development, better schools, better hospitals. They are tired of hearing anything about Yaya Jammeh. I will conclude with Batambedu by saying that if you people remember, Honorable Yankuba Toure went to the TRRC. Well before he came to the audience itself, he said he will not talk about that period. That's 1994 to 1996. Because he will go contrary to the 1997 Constitution. They brought him, he refused to talk. But what happened? As I first said, they will send him to the Attorney General for contempt. The Attorney General said, immediate response was, I will teach him a lesson. What he did was just to go and charge the man for murder. When those who stood before the court, before the TRRC, and confessed to murder, are left to go back home, some roaming the streets of this country. Prior to Yankuba Toure's TRRC attendance, he was here. What does he know then, now that he never knew then? Because Yankuba never said anything. But as I said, we are seeing him being tortured completely in prison. I'm happy that he is bold and resolute. The Constitution provides, that's the 1997 Constitution, which according to them is bad and is the is the law of the land as up to today. Provides that no commission, no court, no order, no judge, no person can look into the affairs of that period during the military junta period, transition period. Nobody. It's Constitution. He relied on it. My worry was, why don't you start from 1997? Come on. By the time you change the Constitution, if you want to go and look back on it, why do we have to flout the Constitution and punish somebody? The TRRC who are offended said, we are sending him for contempt. Then for me, was there bad blood between him? Does Batambedu have something that may warrant him to charge this young man for murder?
Without evidence.
I will conclude. I deliberately made it the last issue. That is I know you people are ready to ask questions, and that is going to be the rumored attempted coup d'etat. You know, I never wanted you to ask because my response will be harsh, a little bit. If you remember, during the impasse, Bokarsi and others were saying their people are coming to come and get Yaya Jammeh. Coup d'etat is coming. Yaya Jammeh is gone under the bunker and all these things. They were saying a lot of things. People were saying a lot of things. And nobody was attaching those people to any political party. If anything good is said by this gentleman, you don't say he's APRC, you say he's Pa Manga. If he does anything bad, hey, APRC Nko. So what I want to make clear is that we as a party, APRC, we are structured and organized. we have a mouthpiece that gives out, that communicates what the party stands for. Elements of the party have a right to do what they believe in or to expose anything or to anything. In this particular case, the names are here. Some of them are Professor APRC. Some of them are not APRC. I don't know whether it's Sonko or somebody else. Is it Sonko?
Yes,
Sonko. Those are not APRC. Why should people want to ask APRC about it? One thing we want to make clear, we don't believe in any form of violence, much more a military takeover. We believe that only the people of the Gambia must decide who governs them. So we are tired. Everything good, nobody points to the APRC. Even Fabakary himself, if I do good, they will not say it's APRC, they say Fabakary Kukendoleki. But if I do bad, they will say the APRC leader did that. We are tired of those jargons. We don't want to be pulled into those things. We are focused, we love this country, but we cannot be cowed down. We cannot be. We have faith in Allah. Inshallah, we believe that only Allah determines leadership through the people. I thank you all once again. And of course, it may not be easy. It's not easy to talk. But I believe we are able to express the position of the party and honestly give you for dissemination to the Gambian people the current affairs in the Gambia. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the Right Honorable Alhaji Fabakary Tombong Jatta. We'll quickly go to question and answer session. As usual, raise your hand up before you put your question forward. Introduce yourself and which media you represent. And again, one question at a time. You'll be giving another opportunity if you have a second question. And one media also at a time, so that everybody will have the opportunity to ask or to put the question they want to. Like I mentioned earlier, you're free to ask any question, whether it is captured or discussed during the presser or it has been left out. You're free to ask any question and we'll give you the answers you need. And please, let's not give statements. Let's keep the question short and precise so that you'll get the answers that you need. Hands are raised up, and I will start with that lady right opposite. Your name, with media you represent, and you pose one question at a time. Thank you.
Yeah, I will answer you in English and then come to Mandinka. It's I've said a lot about Batambedu. Is he a threat to APRC? If you analyze my statement, nobody can be a threat for us. You can only be a threat to us if we are wrong and you are trying to punish us. Batambedu is a threat to Gambia. I have enumerated some of the activities of Batambedu. Do you like those things happening? We Gambian love those things. We are talking about transparency, accountability, and probity. We are talking about the dignity of the man. And the man is a human rights activist. Now, how can we have all what I have enumerated happening? It's not happening to APRC. Because the money is to be taken. They are not going to give it to APRC. It's to be plowed for the good of the Gambia. And I am confident, I am 100% confident that if President Jammeh's properties or articles were sold and the money spent on Gambians, he has no recourse, no problems. I can guarantee that. So what I'm saying is, it's not about that. What we are trying to say is, we have been saying this many times. We are saying that we are giving reasons why we feel that Batambedu is not good enough. I've not just said we dislike Batambedu. I have given you numerous reasons. And finally, we are in this mess. Government is in this mess because of Batambedu. We all agree he is the legal advisor to the president and the executive. Why do you have to... Dudu, I asked you to play this thing. A year ago, just give 2-3 minutes and you listen to ITV, this thing, what myself and Dudu said. Nobody was listening. You see, we are not hungry for anything. We want justice. We want things to be right. We want a better Gambia. Akamin for wole munga Batambedu to for the senior jama for APRC kolum manghani Batambedu la bang for Batambedu la manghanya la bang. Akole nyini nkano. Nkai ko Batambedu amanje ko amu APRC le tretti wole mu nsilata alale. Gambia bele silata Batambedu la because of Abarako. Because akabarol minche ngamin fujang, ngamin damma fujang. Anem be nyim masi bo min kono teng. Kiti o min keteng. Batambedu le ak. Batambedu le moti mi alon ko atele moti minyanta mansakunda Adama Barrow na la mansakunda ya marla luala slola. He's the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Chief Legal Advisor. Kumba Jet, Honorable Kumba Jet la ko kregana by new mislead. Ninkuo fanankele ganen tulu nga fulan fom batata nga dia molike min dia taya ko leke drong nko ari kamin fananke nko nin sol mi wafita jumale wafi ye wafi jumala because nga moy ko modol be keri ne mi yalon ko be nyimman sakunda ko ni su korol le bebu so kanyi ngunu be bay yena la ya fanya ko nyini skari ngole wafi la balle nyin don sang module nyin don sang nga wafi ngine la moli along. We have a right to know. It's not secret. Motolu and all these things. His second question was?
You said as crimes happen and still happening.
Yeah, ako fanang. Nko. Ika yaja me noma minna ko ay kukuringol lek. Ika min foko yaja me wollek. O dolbe ke kanjan. Ansay. Ako ma itandi munem wo kuold. You see, what we are trying to do is to say what you people are saying. Because we APRC, we are proud of Yaya Jammeh and the APRC. That's why we are still there. And I've said it in my various interviews that there is no amount of pressure or whatever that can change us. Because we have seen everything. It happened when we were there. It happened in our presence. And I further said, yes, we were not a perfect government. We erred. We made mistakes. But our good far outweigh our mistakes. But nobody talks about the good of APRC or Yaya Jammeh here. And most of you youths, the door to heaven, opportunities came through the APRC government. Today, as opposed to before, we all know. But yet still, you have the right to your choice. But what we are saying is, they are saying Yaya Jammeh stole all the money. They are saying Yaya Jammeh killed all the people. They are saying human rights violations of various kinds. I am saying, if it is killing, if you say Yaya Jammeh killed, this government killed. If you say Yaya Jammeh has stolen, this government has stolen. If you say Yaya Jammeh has violated human rights, this government has violated human rights. But what order did Yaya Jammeh do that this government did not do is the good things of building schools, free education, electricity, roads, infrastructure, everything you can imagine. That's the difference. So that's what we are saying. We are not telling anybody that Yaya Jammeh or APRC in Tolmu Alalti, we made no mistakes. No! And I will assure you there is no government in the world that is perfect and does not make mistakes. None. Our ability to reflect on the past and put in measures to prevent recurrences of our mistake is the best way forward. That's why when we came, we said, APRC, we looked back, we looked at what our activities ourselves, honestly and sincerely. We saw our strengths and we saw our weaknesses. And we told people that come another APRC government, those mistakes that we have seen, we will put in regulatory frameworks that will prevent a recurrence. And our strengths, we will consolidate and expand them. We said this. And that's the only way forward. You cannot turn the wheel backwards again. We cannot. So that's what we are saying. Where?
The remaining documents are.
That was my question to you, the journalist. I wish you pose that question to the Commission and Batambedu. But my information is that, from reliable information, that the committee set up only sold 720 heads of cattle. And even that, who bought them? How much? We want to know. We are informed that some people in the hierarchy have herds of cattle. In fact, about 2 nights ago, some people started moving their herds of cattle from one location to the other. We are informed. So what we are saying is, we want transparency. I said, honestly speaking, I swear to God, even if you go to Kanilai and you take Yaya Jammeh's personal things and sell it, and they give it to Gambian people to feed on or to have medicine for their kids or to go to school, Yaya Jammeh has no problems. Wallahi, I can tell you. But it is very disturbing that some of these things are done clandestinely. Containers taken from Kanilai. I have information that some people even have these flat screens in their houses. So what we are saying is, we as politicians, whatever we hear from our people is what we say. We are not journalists to go and verify or anything. If anybody comes to us and says this is our problem, we cry out. It's government's responsibility to clear the air. So we don't know where those cattle, and that's our concern. We said, where are they? Even my information is that even that money of 8 million is no longer where it was. That's my information, and reliable information for that matter. I don't want to make statements that I don't have. I have a lot of information that I'm yet to verify. We will come out. We are making our own data collection, factual data collection backed by documentation. You know, when we were in government, if you remember, some of the things that happen even in the State House, the next morning you see them in the streets. Now, as they are talking, we get the information. And we are getting documentation. We are collecting data and documentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, before this judgment, if you listen to my previous interview, I've said we are making a final write-up to government for the release of our vehicles and other properties. In the event they don't do it, we will resort to court. I think people captured that. Some journalists captured it. Yes. And now the write-up is almost finalized, and we are sending it to government. But thank God, a court has also even given us, in hindsight now, that it is illegal for our vehicles to be seized. It is illegal. Now what we need to do is to enforce that our vehicles be given to us. And for the return, not only of those things, for the return of the assets of those whose assets were confiscated. You see, we must be very careful here. And you journalists have a fundamental role here. Because here, these people have already sold some properties. It means they have sold it illegally. Now they may want to resort to court to legalize it. That in itself is illegal. You cannot make something illegal through an illegal way, because what they do now is to return. It's to return. It is determined that it is illegal. They should return those properties. 1, 2, those that they have sold, they should give back and then get those people their properties back. If they want, let them go and do let's go to court. If the court decides otherwise, then they can come back. But so far, what they have done is illegal. They have tormented people, they have punished people, they have tortured people, they have denied people, they have disgraced people, and that the court is now telling us that it is illegal. And I told you, Batambedu interpreted it differently. And I know you people now, you will make a comparisons, whether what Batambedu said is what is true according to the judgment. I want to see that in the papers. Or what Fabakary said is the truth. One of them, either of us cannot be saying the truth. One of us must be lying. So I think journalists should be critical and make those analyses and come out with what is true from what Batambedu said. That this court did not say that they cannot enforce or execute it.
Thank you.
No, but you know, the demands are all things done by these people, executed or ordered by them, is illegal. Our vehicles, our accounts, making sale of President Jammeh's properties, houses, cattle, vehicles, all what is done by the commission is illegal. So it means everything done is. They have even used Kanilai, the family compound, as a military barracks. And we are all looking at it. Nobody talks about it. That's not correct. That compound belongs to Jammeh and his brothers and sisters and nephews and all these things. But people don't talk about it. It's Yaya Jammeh, and some people will just see him die. They will not say what the truth. And that's not journalism. That's not journalism. You see, we are coming out with a press release. We are coming out with 2 documents, God willing, now against this weekend or early next week. 2 documents. And all of these documents, I am sure the press will have it. One will be a press release. The other will be a demand from government. You know, I told you that we have completed writing to government. We just to distribute the letters to them, and that was our last move to get government action on what our demands. We said failure to do that, we will resort to court. Now, you know, with the current event, you know, we have to see what we do with that letter, noting this judgment, and we make our demands on government. And if they fail, then we resort to some other measures. You know, that's why we cannot release these things, because what we have got to give you, these events overtook it. When this judgment came out, then it means we are at least helped. We have moved 3-4 steps ahead. So now we have to synchronize the 2 and make one formal thing. That's why we cannot release it. But you will surely get it. Yeah, I have said, I think I've made it very clear, that the position of this party, the issue of man marrying to another man is alien to us. It's not part of our culture, our norms, our values, our religion. And we will never succumb to anybody. We will never tolerate that. Never. And I said further that if that had been the issue from the beginning, some of us may not have existed. If 2 women were getting married, Bemba Adama nata drong, anim Bemba awa, Bemba Adama anim do fututa, Bemba awa nim musudo fututa. They don't tell better sotola. So until that it's out of it's not good. And for the EU, you see, you're propelling another dimension. You see, the European Commission and most of these Western institutions are not helping third world countries as we think they are doing. We must be very factual. Let me tell you, I have experiences with these people. I have been in parliament. I have experiences with them. You see, what happens in Africa, to us mostly, is any African leader who does not dance to the tune of the West for their interest, you are a dictator. You are a tyrant. You are smeared with all sorts of names. But kill your people. Kill them. But whatever they tell you, do it. You are a democrat. Can't we learn from those things? We had problems with the EU ambassador because APRC is a threat to them. To the extent that they go even to want to mingle into our internal politics. And we came out and at our last demonstration, you can see the European Union, these things. I'm sure that hammered him until he called me and said he wants to talk to me. For the first time since Jammeh left. And he came prepared to think that some of the comments made were made by some of our supporters. I said, this is the party position. They are not honest people. You see, all these deportations is their interest. How can we allow these people came here without permit, without visa? They took away our people. They did everything, and they come here and go up to now. Our few people there, they are not criminals. They want to send them back. And that Europe was developed, America especially was developed on the back of black people. So what we are saying is, governments must protect their citizenry at all costs. So, but these people, look at the man, what he's saying. We are giving you money because we want you to ensure that gay rights are protected. EU ambassador, ako, hey, mansakunda lal hakul tu dem ka kodo dial la katul laftali musunum musu futu wanin kenim ke futu aliyo bambal. Isu ofontela mansakunda kono woso mo ite ilaja. Ite ilaja, wallahi. You cannot treat us as subhuman beings. We are equals. Just that you may have more than I have. These are facts of life, and these are the challenges you people have. But he left us alone. The EU ambassador is gone long ago, and we will never, ever go for gay man. Never. No, Dudu cannot answer that. Dudu is a spokesperson. He speaks on my behalf and on the party's behalf. Where I am there, he cannot talk.
Thank you.
You know that we are happy about that. Because what happened is Mandingol ko nie siu je kolonto talal noma turural le filtala. You see, we as a party, we don't harbor grievance. It's a game of politics. There is this adage, you have only, politics is all about interest. You don't have permanent friends. Somebody who may be your enemy may be your friend tomorrow. If you remember, Barrow and Usenu, Barrow Usenu is everything. Godfather, you see, politics. But Dudu was very clear in what he said. He said, to put down the Barrow government, there is need for any other for people to come together with political parties, giving UDP as an example. We are open to dialogue with any political party, APRC. We can talk, no problems. We have an interest to protect. If we cannot agree, you go your way, we go our way. We don't put away anything. But yes, it's true that for some political parties, it may be very difficult. It may be very difficult, but it's not impossible. So we rest assured, the claims UDP, they are making noise out of it that we want to appear. We thank Allah because before nobody wants to see APRC, much more to work with APRC. If today we are a hot pancake, then we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we are going to remain consistent. Rest assured about that. Always the party's interest and Gambia's interest. We will never mortgage this country's interest for anything. Rest assured about that. But your concern, this was the talk of the town. And the duty even came out to clarify. But you hear them, it's nice to say we have no qualms with anybody. We have no qualms. What we are saying is negotiation is about give and take. We will do our best on this thing. It may be easier with A than with B or C than with D. That's true in all negotiations. But we don't rule out anybody. But don't take us for granted. We are the biggest. We are the biggest. And as we move towards election, it may not even warrant APRC to go into any alliance with anybody. We may be able to get enough people to get 50 plus 1. Because we know what we are doing on the ground. That's why there is this pressure distracting us, refusing giving us money, getting our vehicles. And you see, APRC is funded from APRC militants. All these people, none of them working. None of them. Where do we get the money? It's the people. And when somebody can put up his $100 and give it to the party, Odabejel is there. That's why we have a lot of people. And it's growing monumentally every day. Wait until we go out of this COVID-19 and then we embark on the tour. You'll be surprised. There may not even be any more about talks. People may tell us, thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable. The next question.
Sometimes it's not easy to clap. Yeah, you see, APRC, thank you very much. How much problem APRC more? APRC militants are so committed. So in Nesa, I'm meeting with Dudu and this thing, people will come. And if we say, please, come and fill the buffer zone, I will just fold my hands, they will fold their hands, no money out, they will take their transport and fill the buffer zone. That's APRC. I don't know, that's the love they have. Now, I deliberately omitted the issue of the Constitution, the new draft Constitution. Why? Because, when the first draft came out, we had a workshop on it, and we made our submissions. Looking through it, some of those submissions, some of them are not corrected. The party is yet to, because of this cholera, we are yet to come together to make a determination. But from a perspective that I have seen, this constitution is a waste of money and resources. I had wished that the 1997 constitution was amended. Those that they think were omitted and could be added, let them put it in. And those that they think is not good enough, let them remove it. But spending $160 million for a draft constitution borrowed from Kenya. I don't know. We are doing our work. That's why I deliberately omitted it. We don't want to make it because you cannot tell people we don't want the constitution. You must give them reasons. Because we are identifying why this constitution we think is not good. But so far, from a perspective, my perspective, because they are yet to put their input, but is that this constitution is not the one. It's not the one. I don't know. Probably I'm yet to see some more other things. I observed one thing in the constitution. You have independent institutions are created. Independent bodies are created in the new constitution. And those independent bodies, generally speaking, are going to be for the drafters and the so-called intellectuals. They are the ones who they think would fit into those things to be appointed there. And when they are appointed there, to get them out, it's easy to put them there, but to get them out, you must go to hell and come back. And they are given powers more than those we elected, those whom we elect. There are a lot of, from my perspective, I am coming to have a special press conference on my own about the constitution and my observations. So, but so far, I think the party has not formally come out. but we had a lot of reservations against the first draft. So we have to go back to see the new draft and then see how, whether it meets the necessary demands or the corrective measures were done. So that's why I just put it aside, because if we talk about it, I may prejudice. I'm saying something that my members probably have a different opinion, That's why we omitted the Constitution out.
Yes.
And he said a second one. He said two.
You started with that one.
Oh.
Yeah, and I tell them one question.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, this gentleman. Then next. Forea. Barry?
We are not hearing.
Said he does not see any social distance and he's standing next to somebody. Okay, go ahead. Okay, that's the question. Okay.
Emergency elapsed on Monday. It started again. And the people are asking, is it legal? That's an information, and I want people to do research on that. The first pronouncement of a state of emergency is subject to parliamentary approval if Parliament is in sessions, I think 1 week, if not in sessions, 3 weeks. It happened, Parliament extended it. It collapsed, Parliament refused to extend it. President came back again and made another declaration. So that declaration not be subject to parliamentary approval? So these are agreements, but you are right that we should have social distance. That's for our interest. It's only difficult that we don't have it because of space. But we would advise that we try to encourage social distancing wherever we are. What I said was, I wish if I were you, I was going to stand alone and then make the claim. But when you yourself is part of the problem now, it becomes difficult.
Yes, next question goes to you.
What?
Nabanko news.
Nabanko.
Nabanko.
Okay.
Mbasini ya ko nyin kayto yalong jawara independent o sindi nga bondi tubabulu bulu akata prime minister ti wotumo gofuno bembulu bar jawara la man sakunda kono commissioner lota jele ka kuuri kiskis commissioner manke tanate commissioner kalol ka kuuri kiskis iko yaya jamme PBP la fengol 6 le yela motol 6 le ye fenke yeta sai ningata baro man sakunda fanata ni APRC la fengol 6 ye ya jamme la fengol 6 o mangana kala tanate nganta iteko ye motol tuje bawo umuntu la fonkolle patiol tamuwata yala if man kukri no understand yaya jamme nata kidol kabira sita nkanyi luwal min be fugante ya be suspend patiol be banta man sakunda katama dikril la wolem ake aike kido duwate kering walatinna wasanje fulo kono constitution ko akana kiskis so ite wala ko baro man na kidola baro na tala luwal be kering so luwate gade tamala wala nimmo nata misal fe miye baro bondi misal fe alman tankalla kesola abe constitution o banna abe kolle luwa ku defola e min fo dole be kala so wala mu difference soti nyanta mi understand e kamin fo ko anu wato framu APRC leti Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council o manke APRC wato kidole kadiam molle kadiamu mini ye niyela Lua mantra caring. Political party te caring. Kafute caring. Itu woni say lala. So molka lafta yo je fam donko. Ya mira ko APRC lem. Wo wato aninte fa on kando ila julol la. Ite fanan ke dongo jolo na trebe ibe menta. Momolem. Itol lebe caring. That anyway, I tell dawo da yamo iko kule taleketa. These basic things happen. Iko constitutional suspend a political ban ye bodal nim fonkol be sorong ye la council londi ikadi itol la loi katama wala. Fuganing mbe mur la constitutional rule. So ite la nola. Ngani mamo ite folola. Nka mo dol fonka fu anila audio to. Ha APRC kolu ifele kamfata itule jawara la fonkol tagande fonkol fenke ganne ifele yakate yalo mol katiamu kamfa juso you know APRC came into being to bring constitution loi murfana kato buntanta mol diamuta aketa bagani wo bekela 94 gani wo bekela wo manke watiti mi yalon ko APRC lem waram molem o wato constitutional ibukaf ko nyin kata ten constitution ya suspend ya bondil ya landi aside le so ndeko encore fo andu wato for 94 APRC man soto APRC soto da in July 22nd 1996 wato la create so wato be APRC man soto molukam yalo molukam ibe kam faring kamale imang nyabotam fe because na minke ta kenol yalo mimbe mol feñol APRC minke jang ati mota kenola honestly I'm telling you you see leadership and development is about commitment nganiyo nduka mol solo mi yalo ko ke mire kungol damal and how to make money at the expense of mi mam bala fa so te mol maranolo ibe bala fa so la hadama dingoli and you know there is a time in leadership that you must be a dictator. There is a time, even in a democracy. Go to Trump here be. He's imposing his will basically on the American people as president with all their democracies. So, but what is important for us is, let it be for the best interest of the people. So, coming for Yentola Motolta, Mata Tonyakan, Lua, Yatuala Tinya Yata. Kiti bunga fanye wala fuko ye luwa le tinya to nyatije wala nantul kaf wala mu ila jadu. Yeah, to clear the doubts about people are saying he may be here to celebrate the July 22nd, etc. That's the most irrelevant thing that one can bother yourself to answer. For me personally, anybody can say, Caribinale Sama, I celebrate. What is bad about that? And what is so mystic about that? I don't understand. President Jammeh, as you said, is a Gambian. Nobody can deny him the right to come. All what you can say is if he comes, we will take him and to court or to whatever. But you cannot deny him. There is no law that can deny a citizen from coming back home. So if I sit down to go, President Jammeh, July 22nd, I've been able to celebrate. What is your worry? So, no, next year left and now celebrate. But I've been able next year and celebrate. What is your worry? That's an opinion. No, but what have you got to do with people's opinion? Powerful. Now, the other thing is what you said, it may be more substantive. That is, President Jammeh's comeback, whether he is willing to face justice, etc. We have been pulling with people for President Jammeh to come back. How can you go to heaven without dying? And people are saying, no, he cannot come. Why don't you help us and convince people so that President Jammeh comes? And then whatever they want to do, they can do it. Whatever he wants to face, he faces it. Why don't you help us? Because we have even demonstrated here that President Jammeh, is time for him to come at his wish to come here. And people are saying no. But how will you get him prosecuted if he's not in the Gambia? When Batamidu said, na singolo airport do nga arrest. And when President Barrow said he has a right to come back and stay as a citizen, but amidu ko hani Barrow ikamin fonto ka otekela. Na abasi wala lagando mbamutala. So what we are saying is, you see, what people fail to understand, some people are being misled. People are being misled. I can swear to the Holy Quran and even touch the Quran and swear, billahi wallahi tallahi. Yaya Jammeh loves Gambians more than most of these so-called leaders. Wallahi billahi tallahi. The isolated instances that happened, yes, it's regrettable. But should that deter us from moving forward? Every day, every minute, every meeting, Yaya Jammeh Molefa, Yaya Jammeh Sunarok, APRC. 4 years today. Go, let's now move and then add something to improve on the livelihoods of Gambians in various areas. That would help us. Education is at its lowest now. It's not even affordable. You cannot talk about health. Security is at its weakest. You can talk about a lot of things. Why don't we? These are the things we deserve. Crying over spilled milk is not what we are. A group of disgruntled people who don't want to see APRC or Yaya Jammeh here because of their own acts. Those people, they can do anything to prevent Yaya Jammeh from coming. A click. But that's not our interest. They cannot be pulling us to one side all the time. Yaya Jammeh, what Yaya Jammeh has done in this country, I've said it to people. Colonial masters and the PVP 30 years, they only had 12 high schools in this country. 12. And none of those high schools were built by government. And that was built by the colonial masters in 1927. 1927. Almost 90-something, going to 93 years ago. All other schools were not even government. PVP meant PVP never built one high school for you people, for our people. It will do the ministers and the hierarchy, they come and compete in the high schools, and they are given preferences at Senegal, Gambia High, and these things. From there, they are given scholarships to go to America and the UK. Look, let's not fool ourselves. At the time President Jammeh left this country, 132 high schools in this country. Look, let's be honest. With all the high schools, he is able to ensure that we have free education up to secondary level. When he started the University of the Gambia, the doubting Thomas, he said, no, it's not going to work. Said a lot of things. It's one of the lead institutions in the sub-region. And do you know that most of those people who went to the university would not have had the opportunity if there were no changes? They were the sons of very poor farmers. And that 90% of them were on scholarship. Think of that. Look, even to talk about electricity alone, if you go to some of our villages and knock the ground and the old paths come out, they will not recognize their village. Yes. Honestly, I'm telling you. Miracles happen in the Gambia. Look at the you know why land is so expensive? Before, when you go to Kartong and Gunjur and Sanyang, you just go with Kolono, they give you land. Now you don't pay $300,000-$400,000, you cannot get 20 by 20. Because they have light, they have electricity, they have roads, they have water. So a lot of things happen in this country. We must appreciate it. And we are even proud to be Gambians. Gambia is better recognized and known and respected. These are the facts. Like it or dislike it. And for you youths, Yaya Jammeh spent his life for Gambian women and youths. Now, all what he is doing, all what we are talking about, you know why Yahya Jammeh was voted in 1997, 1996? Because his 2 years, what he did were so impressive. He did a lot in 2 years under a military government isolated by the West. So what we are saying, for us, we know that some of us, the Western educated people, some tribal, some other things, what I would advise is always our interest, Gambia's interest, which includes your interest, not the interest of Fabakary. Let's not allow to be used as before. Never, never. Even APRC, don't allow APRC to use you.
Thank you.
We should be able to build a better Gambia for all. We must continue the foundation laid by the APRC and move Gambia into the 21st century. Let us be like other nations. It's not difficult to develop this country, honestly. It's not difficult at all. We are a small country, all one family, brothers and sisters, etc. It's not difficult.
Thank you.
Hard. It's only we respond. But you know, what happened is people had taken us for granted because APRC that's the belief, and that's why I started this thing with those salient facts. That is enough is enough. Imagine Madi Jobate and his people taking people to court for what they are saying. You are saying it's a threat. We will deal with them. We will deal with them. So, but if you don't want to hear that, why do you attack people? Why do you attack people? And they are not honest. They are not honest. That's the thing. They are not honest. Madi, you are running a Westminster Abbey thing. You are having your this thing. Why don't you excuse yourself from political these things? Why do you have to be talking about people's these things? So-called human rights activists. We are also doing our research. We will come out on them. We will all go to court until doomsday. Honestly, we will not leave anybody now. And we are sending this signal to the police. Why are they only calling APRC? The only people going to court is APRC. People who have called on Barrow and insulted Barrow, called on markets to be burnt, called on everything here. A lot of things happen. Are we not Gambians? We will never tolerate it. Never. Yeah, that. You are right. No, those. If anybody insults my father, if you insult my father, I will insult your father. That's good. So what I'm saying, to avoid my father being insulted, then I will not insult. Why don't we take issues? Why the insults? Why don't you talk about programs and processes? You see, people who insult are bankrupt. They are bankrupt of ideas. So, but one thing is, we have said to our people, we are disciplined. Yes, we are disciplined. But you cannot come and sit on our head. You I want to ask this question to journalists. Which party is the most friendly party in terms of engagement and information dissemination to you people? When you go to some other press conferences, you are limited. And you are sometimes told that it's only this issue that I have spoken about. It's not open up. And nobody calls us and we say, oh, no, we cannot talk to you. Sometimes it's me. And me, if you want to, my spokespersons, the directive is any media communication must come through them. There are issues that they can clear. If they cannot, they will tell me. Some of you, if you see me talking to them, they will tell me, no, Honorable, you yourself should address these issues. I'll go to address them. But we are open 24 hours. So we are more than willing. If it is about information, You know, we are not in government, but we are trying to get information. When we were in government, the way information come out is the way it's coming out now to us. So we are collating it. We are not going to rush it because we want complete. We don't want to be finger pointed at. Like we say something that we don't have enough and sufficient proofs. So, but when we have them, the final place is the press. Let us talk about that. But we also want you people to put aside your political, ethnic, or whatever affiliations and be professional in the way you operate. You know, that if you can continue to be on an issue, if it affects A, if it affects B also, even if B is not your good man, you should do the same thing by your profession. That's what we are asking. But sometimes we were omitted. Agree. You should agree. You people had that distance. We were sidelined. Because of that, you had a notion. Most people have this click in their mind. Because Mimbe for the Gambia Jang. Yeah, I've been to a roading, we get a kick in the ball.
We always do.
But I congratulate you. And you know also, when it comes from APRC, it's hot cake, your papers will sell tomorrow. You know that?
Thank you very much.
It's mutual,
Honestly,
it's symbiotic.
To have the same platform, ask any question that you want. Definitely in most issues, sometimes I personally do force him to attend to certain interviews. When they want it from him, I tell him, he tells me you can handle that. I said, but it's good at times they hear from you. So he never closes his doors to any media. And some of you journalists could attest to that. Even when you want interview from APRC, I drive my car to you, not you coming to us, just to give you information. This you can also attest. So once again, we want to thank all of you. It does not stop here. You can always engage us. Some of you journalists do wake me up from sleep and tell me we want to have an interview with you. I never said no. I always come to make sure I represent the APRC. But again, we appreciate the work that you do. All we are saying is double your efforts. You can do more, you can do better. Because most media houses has been crying foul yesterday. And today they said it's democracy, things are open up and they are relaxing. That is something that's, posing most of these questions. But once again, on behalf of the interim party leader of the APRC, the executive and the supporters, we want to thank you for taking your time, coming down here. And we want you to disseminate any information that you derive here. Fairly, squarely, let justice prevail. Until another one,